The movement bug begun springing up in your life once more? Do you miss the world that was once sans COVID? It very well may be difficult to return on schedule, however you can definitely push ahead and plan out your next getaway. There are a modest bunch of nations that are really chipping away at plans and offers to draw in more sightseers to visit them. Fault the financial hit that significant nations have looked because of the pandemic, yet it is your past to go benefit that excursion you were unable to go during the current year. Travel scenes after COVID-19's belongings have been modified as there are a few new standards and well-being guidelines that you would be approached to take up. Be that as it may, as long as a portion of the costs are dealt with, you have less to stress over and more to anticipate. Find beneath a portion of the nations that have declared captivating designs to go after COVID-19. Number 6. Italy, Sicily. Italy endured a hotshot during the COVID pandemic. In any case, their soul is honorable as not just have they figured out how to cut down the quantity of cases, however have likewise opened travel doors for global vacationers. There are a few limitations to the nations from where sightseers can travel, however they are very free to savor Italy's best objections. One of the fundamental reasons why Sicily has paved the way for sightseers is on the grounds that Italy intensely blossoms with the travel industry to help its economy. As a seashore objective of the nation, Sicily is prepared to repay a 50% of the vacationer's airfare. Indeed, a free evening of convenience is likewise available to all. Besides, travelers can visit a portion of the galleries and vacationer locations without the requirement for buying tickets. More subtleties on this can be benefited on the island's true site. Number 5. Bulgaria. Relaxing by the seashores of Bulgaria with the Black Sea at removal does appear to be a decent method to spend an excursion plan post the COVID pandemic, correct? It's an ideal setting, and what makes it much more appealing is the manner by which a portion of the beachy advantages can be liberated from cost. The nation has offered to open up a portion of its compensation to enter seashores free of charge. Sightseers would now be able to look at the generally private seashores free of charge. Not simply that, seashores are further contribution-free sunbeds, hammocks and even seashore tables to make it a less expensive vacationer bargain. A hammock is quite costly and a prerequisite at the seashore. In any case, with a particularly cool arrangement, they do plan to pull in more travelers, particularly from colder districts, to come over and restore the nation's travel industry. Number 4. Cyprus. The public authority of Cyprus has really delivered a fairly fascinating arrangement to improve its travel industry and permit COVID-struck and non-COVID-struck nations to visit them. The nation has declared that if the infection contaminates any of the sightseers visiting their country, their convenience, food, drug and all that will be dealt with by the public authority itself, for nothing. While they do require a COVID-19 traveler declaration from the vacationers prior to visiting the country. The guests would additionally need to show a testing endorsement alongside the necessity of utilizing a veil consistently. Number 3. Mexico. The exquisite place to get away of Mexico, Cancun, hasn't been this fruitless in quite a while. To liven up their seashores and extravagant properties by the shores, they have delivered an activity called, Come to Cancun 2x1. The arrangement essentially means you being qualified for a free night in one of their properties on the off chance that you book for 2. You simply need to pay for 2 evenings while the third night is in the house. Further, they likewise make them interest bargains that empower covering of airfare gave you pick an aircraft that they have cooperated with. Could things improve than this? For all the seashore bums out there, this is a calling to you parcels as a protected spot to go after the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2. Japan. Since the time an enormous hit to the travel industry saw by Japan, the nation chose to deal with it by infusing about $12.5 billion by sponsoring travel costs. They have essentially thought of a program that covers a scope of movement costs and offers limits and vouchers to support the travel industry. Voyagers who are making their appointments through Japanese travel services or are straightforwardly connecting with lodgings and ryokan motels would be viewed as qualified for these auxiliaries. To make it a protected spot to go after the COVID-19 pandemic is controlled, Japan has been taking some well-being and security conventions. You could capitalize on this time and rapidly plan out a decent agenda once the travel industry doors open up around the world. Number 1. United Kingdom. The infection has seriously hit Britain, yet that hasn't cut down their movement soul or to invite explorers from around the world. Visit Britain's drives have floated the travel industry openings that would help the economy. Having watched out for how different nations across the globe are running after opening the travel industry and assisting it with boosting the economy, they have proposed to keep a specific measure of acid independently that would be paid to a portion of the guests picking to travel to the United Kingdom. The nation would fundamentally support the vacationers who are picking the United Kingdom as their post-COVID travel location.